We are ready. We're talking about Jurgen Klinsmann's 26-man roster for the Mexico and Costa Rica matches coming up. We thought it was going to be 23. It's 26. We got some bonus players. I'm going to start with the goalies.
Yeah.
No surprises here. Tim Howard is your number one, confirmed by Jurgen during his Facebook chat that he did a few minutes ago. Brad Guzan, he did complain about his lack of playing time at Middlesbrough, which is something that we talked about in the videos that we made over the course of the last week as being an issue. Ethan Horvath gets the nod as the number 3, and there's going to be a fourth, and it's William Yarborough. So,
yeah, that was interesting to see. I mean, sorry to cut you off there. Yeah, it was interesting that he got the call up. I do expect that he'll probably be one of the 3 who don't make the final roster, but I'm sure Guzan is there because it's still expected that you can still count on him to be the future. But I think this is the chance to get, in particular, probably Yarborough, a little bit of extra time with the team, a chance for people to see him. Just the idea that he's going to pick up some time with the other players, or maybe some things in the locker room that might help him in the future.
Yeah, so no surprises there, really. Some surprises at defense.
Yeah,
I'll go through the names and then we'll talk about. I think there's one kind of
one that's going to stand out.
Yeah, we'll do him last. It was Matt Beasler, Steve Birnbaum, Brooks, Chandler, Omar Gonzalez, Fabian Johnson, Michael Orozco, DeAndre Yedlin, and Cameron Carter-Vickers gets a call up.
That was a big surprise.
Will his being a Tottenham player have any impact, do you think, on this team and drag them down in any way?
You have to hope that it doesn't mean that they need a referee to help. Will need a referee to help us score, but it is. I've heard rumors that it's on the internet, it's on Twitter. People are talking about different places that it may be that he was kind of getting looked at from England, chance to cup time. Well, to cup time. But it may be the opportunity to either on board with the U.S. or at least, if nothing else, to make sure that England can't have him in the future. So I think that's certainly a big call for him. It was interesting how close we really did on defense in our picks, aside from Cameron. And I think I said, I'm moving in. I think I said in the video the other day that if Cameron couldn't come up because of injury, that we could see someone like Birnbaum slot in. I think hard to say kind of between maybe Birnbaum and Orozco, who I think Klinsmann likes. I think Birnbaum probably maybe the more consistent player right now, at least in terms of their what they're showing on the field. But I think Klinsmann over time has shown more attention to Orozco. So that could, if we're trying to guess who's in the final 23 or who might be starting, I think you might look at one of them. Maybe it goes to Omar. I don't know who he's considering his next in line at center back, because they've kind of all shown there. Maybe it even falls to Beasler, but I think Beasler's more of a backup at left back right now. But the Fabian Johnson thing, though, if you watched Klinsmann's Facebook Live discussion, he may not have been official in his statement, but it was all but official that he was saying Fabian's our best player at left back, and it gives him a chance to work well with left midfield. So I think he was pretty well laying out. We can already guess who 2 of the players in the 11 are going to be. But yeah, the defense looked good.
One thing we knew that was going to happen, we had Cameron in our picks, but we knew obviously that he was hurt after we made that pick, and it seemed like Jurgen said that he knew for a while that he wasn't going to have Jeff Cameron.
Yeah. He said that Cameron admitted to him that he just wasn't in shape to do it. It makes sense. I mean, you got to recover, you got to get back in the team, and then you got to do all the travel and stuff too. If you've got any kind of, I mean, it was so recent. I mean, what was that, last weekend now? It
right.
seems like it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but he's only had a week to recover. I could certainly see that taking a couple, 2 to 3 weeks to fully be shape, and to do that while you're traveling and training with the national team and then trying to get back into the club team. Yeah, I could see.
All right, so midfielders. Here's where we didn't do as well in our picks. We still did all right, but Bedoya, Bradley, Gooch, Green, he's calling a midfielder. Jermaine Jones, because Jermaine Jones will never go away, but I like Jermaine Jones. That's okay. Sasha Kleshin and his beautiful cop mustache. Christian Pulisic, Graham Zusi, and Caleb Stainko gets the nod. So we got, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those right, but we had Julian as a forward, so 5 of those right. So that's an interesting bunch.
Yeah, it definitely. I think this is a sign of maybe what we saw in the friendlies a month ago, which was that Klinsmann's looking at the future. There are opportunities for young guys to come in. I think I said I discussed him in the video the other day because I see him as more of a maybe March next summer. I think long term, you're 18 and you're good enough to be playing in the EPL. You can play for the national team. You're going to be here. He certainly, he's not getting a lot of playing time at the club right now. He didn't necessarily look great in the friendlies, but then again, he didn't get a lot of time. He didn't, it's his first chances, so that's kind of a wash. You have to look at more what their potential is, what they bring to the table, and I think that's really where he's getting called up. I think the same is probably true of Caleb Stanko. Expect him here either. I remember mentioning him the other day. I really didn't expect to see him, but I think even from Klinsmann's discussion on Facebook, I think that's probably one of the guys who's not going to make he'll make this to get him some experience, let him get to know the guys, let him practice with them and get ready for probably the future. He's qualities that we want to the table in the future. But for now, yeah, I'm guessing this is a kind of a goodwill training session. And I was surprised to see listed as a midfielder. That was interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think we both expected him at forward, but what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad he's there. I mean, he's not playing for Bayern hardly at all, if at all. And I liked what I saw from him in the last couple of friendlies. He's one of the few guys who actually took them seriously and showed up. And I think, even if he doesn't get to play much at all in these next couple of games, I think he earned a spot on the team. And maybe he's one of those guys that Jurgen wanted to keep in mix for the future too. One of probably the biggest snub of the midfield for me, because, Darlington Nagbe, we knew wasn't going to make it because of the issues that came out about him. But for me, the biggest snub in the midfield area is probably Kyle Beckerman. I think that was maybe a 1-for-1 swap with Jermaine. What do you think?
Yeah, Klinsmann did say that Beckerman told him he wasn't healthy for this either. So it does make sense. And I think we may have discussed this in the video the other day as well. Over the last year, it seems that Beckerman's aged like 5 or 10 years or something. Jermaine seems to have only aged kind of respectively, or to sort of follow where he should have. And he was a better player to start with. I think the problem with him has always been that he's too much like Michael Bradley. So you have another competing player trying to play kind of the same position, and they both struggle then with who goes forward, who stays back, and they kind of end up toes. And then the hothead part. He seems to becoming a little more responsible as he gets older. Now, as he gets older, he really isn't going to be around for the next World Cup. You have to assume. I mean, it's not like Rafa Marquez, who apparently is going to play until he's like 90.
Until he breaks his neck, right?
I hope to God. Yeah, I mean, he's. I think. Well, I think we discussed this as well, that there, I think, will be some spots, especially without Clint Dempsey around, that are going to be sort of locker room experienced guys who can teach some of these younger guys, like, okay, this is why you don't need to get so upset. This is when it does matter. Toes, don't punch them in the face or push them over anyway, like like Ronaldo did in 1990 and get carded. The point is, yeah, you need some experience to rein these guys in, or otherwise keep them in line, or whatever. So I think that may be some of why Jermaine's here. If nothing else, hey, you have a very good replacement for Michael Bradley should something happen and you need to send in another guy.
Yeah, and Jurgen talked about wanting training sessions to be really, really competitive and really, really intense to kind of, I think, show some of the younger guys what it's all about. And I don't know this, but I'll bet you Jermaine is just a beast in training. It's, just the way he carries himself all the time. He goes 110% in training.
Yeah.
And it's going to raise the level of everybody else around him.
Yeah, he's going out there stepping on toes just to make guys upset and things. Just piss them off and make them do something stupid. Yeah, I think that's probably right on. Top of it, with the lineup that Mexico's already announced, and I think we'll talk about that after we finish with the U.S. here, but with the lineup that they've already announced, we definitely, I think, need a strong midfield, and we can't. It clearly looks like they're going to pack the midfield and try and put as much as possible, and we're going to need a lot of very good, very technical, talented players to truly compete. So I really do think that there, as if nothing else, a direct replacement for Michael Bradley is a good thing. And so yeah, no, I like the selection of Jermaine. Yeah, he comes with all the downsides that he always has, but he has since in the last couple of years, since he really started kind of hitting a wall. But he's playing well right now. So from today's game, so.
And I like sitting midfielder who'll crack a shot from now and then.
Yeah.
And he's always been good for that. Forwards, 4 of them. And I think one big surprise here as well. 3 that we had right: Jozy Altidore, Jordan Morris, Bobby Wood. No, absolutely 0 surprises there. I'd be shocked if any of those 3 didn't make it. The 4th, I was pretty surprised to see the Iceman. What do you think of the Iceman making the roster, Aaron Johansson?
I love him. If not for, I think the rise of Bobby Wood, who we should have out there 90% of the time. He doesn't have the physical qualities that Jozy brings with him, but he's such a well-rounded, talented player. The only knocks on him are that he's not built as like the way we use most of our forwards. Just physically, he's too slight. But he's a talented player who can play well with his feet. At times, perhaps consider swapping maybe what the role that kind of Sasha should be playing in this for him, because he's such a he's good at seeing the field. He has good vision, and he takes players on one-on-one. He does a lot of things that offensively you really want to see. I've always been a fan of his. I've always felt he kind of got a bum rap, and then on top of it, the injuries over the last couple of years. I question whether or not he'll truly make the final 23. I mean, if nothing else, like we had Julian listed at forward, he kind of becomes odd man out. You can still slot Julian in there as the 4th guy. Our predictions would have been correct. I wonder if this isn't a little bit of keep him positive and maybe give him a chance to show off, because it is nearing the January transfer window. Things aren't going especially well for him at Werder Bremen. So you give him the chance to maybe show for somebody, or at least get some playing time, feel positive, feel he's still getting respected and called up, which always tends to help out, stroke their ego a little bit, make them feel like they're something special. So they'll go out and play better and hopefully make the squad in the future, and maybe come March or something, he is challenging more for a position.
Yeah.
The way, sorry.
2 guys, obviously Bobby Wood's been playing well in Germany until he got his 3-match ban, but 2 guys who are doing absolutely tremendous in MLS in the playoffs, Jozy Altidore and Jordan Morris. And
happy birthday to Jozy, by the way.
Yes. I don't think he celebrates his birthday though, right? He's a Jehovah's Witness. But yeah, and Jozy, to me, this is maybe the best I've ever seen him play for a stretch of time. He looks fitter, he looks skinnier, and he looks, like you said in our video this week, even his bad touches aren't bad. They're going into good spots now. So it's good to see. And I just worry that, it seems like every time Josie gets momentum going, he gets an injury or
He
something.
gets hurt. Yeah.
So I really hope he can make it through these 2 games with a really strong showing, because we're going to need him.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly for the kind of physical qualities he brings, we don't have another replacement. I mean, Bobby Wood's probably the closest, and they're similar-ish players, but they're not like for like exactly. And Bobby Wood certainly doesn't have not the height or maybe the width even to kind of play the same role that Josie has. If you had to go say and Aaron Johansson, I think you start looking at maybe against Mexico, maybe even against Costa Rica, we're okay. But any larger team is going to start kind of pushing us around. They're going to be much more physical, and I don't know that those guys are ready to. And we're not playing a style that can overcome it as much. We're still putting too much pressure on that lead forward, the Josie position, to kind of hold the ball and let other guys come off him. So you certainly don't want to see him get hurt. You don't want to see anybody get hurt, but unless it's Rafa Marquez. But I think, yeah, if he can stay healthy, this looks like he's kind of hit his peak right now.
Hey, do we want to talk about Mexico real quick?
Yeah, I have a few things. I guess
I'll start. I mean, the Mexican team to me it's quite a bit different than the Mexico of 10 years ago, where we just had kind of brutes, just dudes who would step on your toes and try to break your ankles and stuff like that. This Mexico team it's a little bit nicer, but probably a little bit more talented too. So I was worried when I saw the roster, but we shall see. I am thankful though that we do get Rafa Marquez. Yeah, I would say one more time, but who knows? Maybe he'll be here in 4 years too. But one more time, we get to really let him have it. And I don't mean the players. I mean us, you and I.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Where he belongs.
In the ground.
We don't like Rafa Marquez. No one should like Rafa Marquez. Marquez is an asshole.
Yeah, absolutely. How anyone in the world could like him, even as a Mexican, I don't know how you can like him. That guy's just an asshole. You're right. This seems to be I would say the best team that Mexico's had in a while. Carlos 5 is back. He hasn't always looked good over the last 5 years, but the guy sure is talented. I mean, I can't fault him on that. He's incredibly talented. I don't like him. When he was at Arsenal, I didn't like him, but Guardado is playing well, like usual. Everyone seems to be healthy for them. Gio dos Santos has, aside from, hey, hopefully Timmy, this is his first destruction of Gio this week, being one of 2. But yeah, he's been looking good since he's been back in MLS. So
other than today, he's been phenomenal. So
so that's a challenge. Miguel Layun, I think possibly easily, aside from Fabian Johnson, is the best left back in CONCACAF, and could now be facing that could be Pulisic's defender. So that could be who he has to try and beat. And I again, I don't want to say nice things about a Mexican player, but I got to say that he is pretty damn good. And then you've got stupid ass Marquez. So hopefully something terrible happens to him and he gets the kind of to his life that he deserves.
They have that Bundesliga striker who's pretty good too. His name escapes.
You know what
I'm talking about. I don't want to say.
Not familiar. Shitty Cheeto.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think that's good.
That guy, they say he's good. They talk about him all the time. I hear, but I never really see him score. So won't.
At least not in CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Watch any Bundesliga, you'll see that guy score a little bit. But so yeah, I think this is the best team that Mexico's brought to this game in some time. But I think this, in many ways is our best team too. I feel, which is weird because before Copa America, I was down. I thought we're hitting a lull. I was, negative on this team. And then they showed me that, no, there are a lot of new guys. And then Christian Pulisic came along, and, the rest is history. It's a good time to be a fan of this team now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about where we were in March, like in the tailgate at the game in March, the Guatemala qualifier, no one felt comfortable. Everyone was kind of like, are we even going to qualify for the World Cup? Like, come on, we have to qualify for the World Cup. Is this truly gonna? It seemed like a world away, and to that game in many ways was kind of the start of something new. We destroyed Guatemala, then we went into the Copa America, did well, looked well, aside from basically against Argentina, maybe a little bit against Colombia, but aside from Argentina, yeah, we showed a lot of talent. We showed a lot of positive qualities. We didn't necessarily have to beat the best teams, but hey, we didn't get humiliated 7-1. So it just seemed that it seemed like this was kind of a new birth, and then to have a bunch of young guys come in that have really kind of are there to challenge the current players, but also to hopefully be our best golden generation, our first golden generation to date. So it definitely makes for some positive or some reasons to be excited over the next 10 days, whatever it is, 11 days, 12, whatever it works out from right now. I can't do the math in my head right now, but there are a lot of reasons to be excited. Hopefully come next Wednesday, we're excited again because, hey, we just started 2-0, and we've got our two biggest wins under our belt, and look at us.
Yeah, 6 points would be very, very nice at this time.
Absolutely.
Next Wednesday. We're going to have stuff on the website all this week and on the YouTube channel all this week leading up to the match. We're going to be at the match, and we're going to have tons of stuff that we share with you there. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, looking forward to Columbus. As Klinsmann was calling for, he wants the fans to be loud and noisy and get in Mexico's face. And to stay behind the U.S. the whole time. I think we can do that.
We should have enough people there to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We will see you very soon. This is USFanTV. We'll see ya.
Bye, everybody.